What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Zcash today. Hit that like button, subscribe, and thank you all for being here. It is the 18th day of March, and here we are sitting at about $254. We've got about 8 hours and 45 minutes left in the day. Pulling back a little bit from this high point here, what I will say, a little thing to mention, is that we had a very, very solid body to the upside. Bit of a doji candle. This is called a spinning top, and now we are moving down. This is actually a very common thing that I've identified and that we've identified over the years, is that you get a solid body down, you get a doji candle, and then a solid body up. It's typically a reversal point, right? Same thing here. Now, whenever I say reversal point, that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to go lower. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, a momentary high. Overall, to me, this does look like a very well structured Adam and Eve. There's a lot of Adam and Eves across the space with various cryptos right now. This one looks more, it looks prettier. I don't know. It's a better looking Adam and Eve structure than a lot of them that I've seen. It's a double bottom overall. Volume is increasing as we're moving up, so this is good overall. It gives me the impression that even though we're reversing here a little bit, we'll probably continue to climb and maintain these higher lows. Okay. The Adam and Eve becomes realized, it becomes a reality and not just a theory once you are above the midpoint there. When you get above that point there, the measure move comes into effect. The measure move is measured from the low to the high of the pattern. And you take that and you put it right there at the nipple, right there at this focal point. That would take us all the way up to about $602 now. Zcash is at $255. $255 to $600. I don't know about you guys, but that sounds pretty great to me, man. And think about if this were to play out. It probably doesn't go like this. It's probably not just like a quick move that we're going to see by the end of March. Probably. Anything can happen. We've definitely seen Zcash move at a very fast pace before. It can happen again. But that fast pace probably happens after the breakout, not beforehand. It's not uncommon to dilly-dally, even consolidate, and then you break out, right? Adam and Eve's, oftentimes you see the Eve with a cup and a handle, and then it's the same thing. People will be like, it's a cup and handle pattern. It's an Adam and Eve. It's the same thing. Whatever. Who cares? And the cup and handle would actually have the same measure move, more or less, as the Adam and Eve would. Taking this thought and running with it, if we were to come all the way up here, what is that? That's a slightly higher high. That might be the perfect time to sell, because people will max FOMO here once we get above that high. Probably, right? People will probably max FOMO here once we get above that high too. There will be multiple points at which we probably pull back as soon as we break above, and those will be points really to maybe offload rather than to onload. But I digress. We can talk about that a little bit later. But that's just the idea there. That measure move would take you. That measure move would take you all the way up exactly to about $604, $605. Okay. Looking at this on the 1 hour time frame, zooming in a little bit here, we are picking up volume. This does look kind of Bart-like, doesn't it? Moving up. Bart Simpson moving down. Volume's picking up. It's not a tremendous amount of volume, but I wouldn't be surprised if this did take us a little bit lower. Let's look at the indicators here and see what they're telling us. Oversold. Yes, I would think that we do go lower. Stochastics are oversold, and the MACD is crossing below the zero at this moment. I think we go lower, but we might see a little bit of volatility. Pull back up to this area of support, back tested for resistance right there at about 266, and then continue to proceed lower. If we proceed lower and volume is picking up, that's not good. If we proceed lower and volume is dying off, that is good, and that probably means that we will move higher, which is what I'm expecting personally. That was my daughter. It sounds like she's got a smoker's cough, but really she's just sick. She doesn't smoke. She's 4. If we're looking at this here from a RSI, from an indicator perspective, the stochastics are moving out of the overbought zone, and this to me does look a little bit bearish. The blue line's kind of separated from the orange line. We're right at the 50. Again, you might see a little bit of volatility here. You might pull up a little bit, but don't get excited. Just because we move back to 270, 265 doesn't mean that we're moving up. We probably do move back down. We don't have to see that volatility. We could just keep moving down from here. I wouldn't be surprised if we did. But we're at the 50 with the RSI, at the 50 with the stochastics. I wouldn't be surprised if we found a bounce here. And looking at Bitcoin too, I'm kind of expecting that we find a little bit of a bounce here, not just with that, but with various cryptos in this space. So it makes sense to me. And when I say a bounce, I mean like it might be for an hour or two. It might be for 4 hours. It might be for 8 hours, but not like a what's going on? Not like a bounce like this, just like a little what is going on here, man? Trading View's glitching out on me. Like a little tiny bounce. Anyways, not a bounce like this, a little tiny bounce. That's what I was trying to do that whole time, and it was glitching out on me there. The MACD has just crossed red. overall bullish. And again, this very much does imply that there's more to go, in my opinion. Cross red, come back down, find support at the 0, whatever. Maybe find support above the 0. Maintain this kind of upward sloping trend that you've got here with your oscillators. But don't cross below the 0. We cross below the 0, that will start to make me think that this is a bull trap. We have this Adam and Eve shape, but it's not going to come to fruition, and we would see a lower price than this. As long as we stay above the 0, I don't think that we go below these lows. As long as we don't see lower lows, I think that we're fine. And we can go as low as we need to in the meantime. How low are we going to go now? That's the right question to ask, okay? Because, again, with this Bart pattern, this Bart-Simpson pattern here, we could go right down to the low. Maybe we do a slightly higher low. Maybe from there we do a slightly lower low. However it works out, but something probably around, I would think, 245 to 235 or 225 would probably be a likelihood. 245 to 225, 245, 225. Low to high here, 225 is the golden ratio. 245, 247 is the 382, and it's actually very common to wick a little bit below that 382. So one way or the other, I would expect that we find support somewhere around 247, 245 to 225 itself, and maybe even a little bit lower than that is possible. It's totally acceptable. I doubt we get below 218. Okay. Yeah, looks good, man. It actually honestly looks pretty good. Where we are right now is prior areas of resistance too that we could be finding support at. Zcash in this daily context definitely looks the most bullish. I'm very, very confident that all we're doing here is we're just finding resistance at this trend line. Or actually, maybe have we broken through it? Let's see. Hold on. One way or another, we're going to break through it. Okay, so maybe not quite at that trend line yet. Maybe it's this trend line. Yeah, maybe it's that trend line there. Whatever. But I do think that we'll break out of this attempt, and in fact, the fact that we're consolidating here before we even get up to this area makes me think that we will just blast right through it, and then we likely probably pull back, find support, continue to move higher. Let's put a fib on here and just see what that lines up with. I mean, look at that, from the 0.5 to the 382 and then up. I could see that happening, absolutely. It's definitely a suitable outcome. I'm going to delete this trend line here. We're just going to look at the fibs. We're finding support at the 236 now. If we go a little bit below, that's okay. When we move up, I do expect that we go above the 382. Because of this reaction already, I would expect that we go above the 382, so we probably do find resistance here somewhere around the 0.5, which would be at like prior areas of support back here as well. We could find some resistance right at this point of resistance, right at these points of support as well. Anything from about 333 to 369. After we move down and we continue to move up, that might be the next point at which we consolidate and then we continue to rally. Once we get above this area here, the idea would be that we don't come back below it, but that we continue to rally. And likely from there, we will see a rapid increase in price that'll take us to our measure move target, which again is all the way up at this $600 area, 786,886. The 786,886 in itself does not mean that you're done going lower, does not mean that you will inevitably take out these highs, but we look at this in the context of a bull flag. It certainly seems to me that if we broke out of this kind of channel dynamic, let me delete this here and try to draw a straighter line, a more straight line. It would seem to me that we are commencing that next phase higher. Interesting to see what happens with Zcash. I'm not right now calling for us to go above these highs and see prices above $1,000, though it wouldn't surprise me if at some point we did. What I am calling for is that overall from this low to this, from this high to this low here, this retracement, I think that from, hold on, why can't I, come on. From this area, we will go to 552 to 634. Probably smack dab in the middle there. That's the expectation. The measure move is right in the middle. I guess it's closer to the 886, but something up there is what I'm expecting. If we get daily closes above the 886, then I would say that prices above $1,000 become an inevitability, and we likely go to $1,000 to $1,700, maybe $1,800. And that doesn't happen overnight. That won't happen by the end of the month of March, probably not even by the end of the month of April. If we get up here at all, it'll be like May or June at the earliest, maybe sometime in the fall at the latest. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Overall, if I was to summarize this video, I'd say that I'm expecting the price from here, 256, to go somewhere between about 245 to 225, maybe a little bit higher, maybe a little bit lower, but right around that area. Right around probably either of those targets, probably not in between those targets so much, but like specifically close to 225 to 245. I'm expecting that we see that, one of those levels, and then we likely continue to push higher. We'll find some turbulence here, or we'll find some turbulence a little bit higher, whatever, and then we will officially be breaking out of our Adam and Eve, and that's whenever we should get our freak on to that $600 range. From there, we can talk about the possibility of going above this high or pulling back down and maybe consolidating further. I know that a lot of people are going to be excited. We break out. They're going to say, this bull flag's breaking out. We're going to be going to above $1,000. It's going to be so exciting. But bull flags have a way of breaking out and breaking out and then still consolidating further. And this was never the bull flag after all. This was the bull flag. You know what I mean? It has a way of doing that. For example of what I'm saying here, we had the bull flag, right? You broke out, and really that wasn't the bull flag. This was the bull flag overall, right? So just don't get too excited, but we will definitely address the possibilities of taking out this high once we are up around this $600 area. I expect the $600 area to come in probably end of April, if not sometime in May. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and take care of your plants. They need water. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.